Trucker channel. I'm your host, the Tourette Trucker. Anyway, y'all know my lives are kind of sporadic. Sometimes I try to plan them, and I was actually thinking about planning a live. I was going to get me a live going,
running a small business,
possibly later on this afternoon.
Skynova.com. Easy but professional.
Alrighty. Planning a live. I'm trying to see this mess so I can see comments if anybody actually comes in here. But yeah, my lives are kind of sporadic. Wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to do one. I was actually planning or thinking about doing a live either when I shut down this afternoon, which would have been about 5 something, which actually I would be shutting down now, which I would have went ahead and planned one. But my life is sporadic because, gee, anyone who knows me knows with me, crap happens. I have a lot of crap happen with me, y'all. I was running good. I was making good time. I was like, I'm only 90 miles away from the TA in Florence. I was thinking, I'll get me some fuel with the TA in Florence, but I'm almost to Augusta. Let's just go ahead and stop, use the bathroom, because, well, shall we say, I've gone 6.5 hours without using the bathroom. I'm one of the ones who will hold it and hold it and hold it. How's it going, Trey? How's your experience in buying a truck from TMC? Actually, I bought 2 trucks from TMC and didn't have a problem getting them. It was real cool. Went up there. You just have to wait until the bank wire transfer goes through before they'll let you jet out with it. We got the financing. What's up, Richard? Got the paperwork and all set up. Everything was good to go. Pete from the UK, across the pond. How's it going? But with me, my financing, they're pretty quick on getting everything done. From the time they got the invoice over for the price and everything, and I got them the APU quote and everything, they had me paperwork and DocuSign the next day for where I get all my trucks from, financed through, and I just have to wait until the wire transfer goes through at TMC. Then once it went through at TMC, yeah, Richard, I am broke down. This is discouraging. I'm sitting here with a blown turbo. Like I was saying earlier, I'm one who will actually run 8 hours. I'll push it right up to my time, which I had already been looking at my time and calculating. I had like about 13 minutes of wiggle room to get to Columbia to the TA there to get fuel before my 8-hour break was up. Or before my 8-hour break, and I had to be pulled over. Sitting just outside Augusta, Georgia, on I-20. But of course, everything happens to me on the weekend when everybody's closed. Did you do a pre-purchase inspection at the time of TMC? Now TMC is actually a pretty good trade with their maintenance programs. They are a butt on their maintenance. But the first one I actually rode by and actually looked at it before I did all the loan paper and all that. The second one I didn't, because we've had pretty good luck with them, and then my brother's got 2 of them. I've got 2. We've got a couple other drivers that they each have 1. So we've had pretty decent luck out of them. Let's see what I have on mine. I had to replace a radiator on one of mine. Other than that, I think that's the only main thing is the radiator. Besides it being an automatic transmission. Now we've had trouble with the automatic transmission and other people have said the same thing. I don't think it's actually a TMC thing. I think it's an automatic and Packard deal. Even though it's a Cummins X15 motor, something about that automatic transmission, the driver will go to put it in gear and it won't go in gear. You can do whatever, it won't do anything. But yet, and it doesn't even throw a code, but if you pull the negative off the battery, let it sit for about 5 minutes, put the negative ground back on the battery, go right in gear. Something trips somewhere in all that electrical system that causes an issue. Don't know what it is, but something in there actually triggers it. But pulling the battery cable off, it resets it, and it's good to go. But yeah, I pulled into the rest area right behind me. Literally, I'm looking at the ramp of the rest area where I came back out of the rest area. And of course, the rest area right before you hit Augusta going east on I-20, you start going uphill. Well, a whole bunch of cars coming, so I was kind of gassing on it, and I was getting with it because this one pickup, he slowed down to let me on because he couldn't. I saw the guy before I even got on the thing, because me, when I'm pulling out, I put my blinkers on before I get up there.
Whatever you do, this is just for you.
So they had my blinker on. I saw the guy. He flashed his lights. He was slowing. He had his blinker on, trying to go. Nobody would let this guy over. So he backed out of it so I can cut on. So of course, someone does that. You gas someone to try to get going. I gassed on it. I heard something go poof. I'm like, well, that's not good. I thought I blew one of the turbocharger boots. And lo and behold, I pull over. I'm looking at the off ramp to an exit right here, but when you hear something go poof under your motor and you see a puff of smoke, you get over. You don't want to take a chance on doing further damage to the motor because you don't know what it is. So I pulled over real quick, lifted the hood. All of a sudden I could hear a little bit of rattling, I could squeeze the turbo boot real easy. I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. Next thing I know, I heard poof, and I looked, white smoke come billowing up out the freaking exhaust. I ran my butt over here. I shut that motor down. I could hear the clanking, so I guess the turbo went kapoof. But of course, my luck, it's a Sunday. Nobody's open. There is 20 miles from here, there's a Freightliner, there's a Peterbilt, and there's a KW. All of them are closed till tomorrow. Can't get nobody. So I do have Dub's Big Rig Rehab in Macon, Georgia, where our shop was there with M. Gibson. He is trying to get me a turbo. He has got someone he's got connections with. They actually had an extra turbo that matched mine that he tries to keep on hand, but the parts guy just sold it last week. So he's got somebody going into Truck Pro right now to open it up and see if they've got one in stock so they can get it. And if they got it, they're going to come out to me. They're about 2.5 hours away to come out here and change it. Because I'm sitting on the side of the road with a placard poison load in the emergency lane. But at least I had enough common sense, not knowing what it is, at least pull over so at least my passenger tires are off the roadway on the grass. But since it starts to slope, you only go so far because I am in a tank and I don't want to roll with a poison placard.
So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try.
I'm a driver, y'all.
So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try.
But I am. I say my truck is actually a good 5 to 7 feet off the line. I've got my triangles out, so I'm trying to be safe. But like I say, I didn't want to take a chance on pushing it over there. What's up, Shannon? Yeah, I couldn't catch your live this morning. Y'all go check out Shannon and Thomas Trucking. She's got a channel. about 1,000 plus subscribers, y'all. She does lives every Sunday morning. I was actually on the phone with my wife, and then I was driving through Atlanta while she was doing her live this morning. Which I'll go check out her channel. She got a good channel. But you know, it's always one thing or another. You try to stay safe. You try to get going. You try to do things. Yesterday was my reset. I reset down there in Mobile, or Theodore, Alabama. Loaded this morning, 6 o'clock this morning. Yesterday my reset, almost just under 8 hours putting a video together. So I've got a video that's going to release tomorrow, I think at 3 o'clock. But I spent almost, you know, freaking 8 hours putting a video together. So it has got a lot of dash cam, truck camera footage and things that I pulled. So some unloading, loading parts, little of that, but you know, because when you do hazmat, you're limited on some content depending on where you go, because some places don't like you to film. So you have to be careful about what you film. Also, y'all, a lot of my videos, since I am running the dedicated back and forth, it's the exact same thing I'm running 2 loads a week. So of course you're kind of there's not much that you can really change, because it's the exact same thing twice a week. I go from Alabama up to Virginia, back and forth. So there's really not much difference in content. So I do kind of spread some things out. I am behind because my son ended up in the hospital for 7 days. So, you know, all that's thrown me behind. So I'm just kind of playing catch up on some of the videos. So yes, the video that is going to be released tomorrow, that was actually started on February 9th. And then I finished it recording the footage on February 12th, but then ended up at a week home with my son in the hospital. And then I've been trying to play catch up on everything else between bills, getting truck worked on, because my last reset ended up having to, I got DOT'd, which screwed up my reset. Then I had to have the water pump replaced. That was $1,200 for the water pump. Then I just got my leaf springs and all that changed out. So that was, what was that bill? That bill I think was $1,700, no, $2,300 for a steer tire, leaf spring, and alignment. Plus I bought the leaf spring myself, which was $660, $670, which I didn't realize until I went to go reconcile the bank statement. And I'm like, wait, why is this $20 more? There was a $20 surcharge from Freightliner, I guess, for using my credit card. So $686. So I've looked at it before today, not counting what this road call is going to be to change out a turbo and all that. I've already spent, I think, like just under $200 shy of $12,000 in vehicle repairs and maintenance in about a week and a half, between my black truck, which my driver is in New Jersey now at the hotel. He starts at C3 orientation tomorrow. Be glad to get that truck rolling, but it's like 3 weeks before we actually see a paycheck from C3. So he'll be running for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, burning roughly like what I'm doing. I'm running, averaging about $2,300 a week in fuel. So I've got to float that $2,300 in fuel for 2 weeks before I see a first paycheck off him. Whew, that hurts. But you know, trucking is hard. A lot of people don't realize how much money is involved in trucking. There is a lot of money that you have to spend in trucking. Try to get some of these comments here. We got old Doug. Glad you got some out of that tray. Oh, we got T-Bone in the house. If y'all are unfamiliar with trucking with T-Bone, go check his channel out. Got good old Tony up there. He's up there in the north. Him and North Country, they're both up there in that northern area. Up there around Minnesota area, Michigan area, all up there. Up there by the Great Lakes there. Too cold for me. I'm a southern boy. I can't deal with all that cold stuff. Let's see, never ending, always something. Sorry, you're right, Doug. It is always something. I'm telling him, Mobile. Oh man. I reset last time on Trey there at the TA in Grand Bay, but then I was off duty PC. Trailer dropped in the TA, went to the Walmart up there in Theodore, and then dang it, freaking DOT didn't stop me and DOT me. I told him, look, man, I just got DOT here. Got the sticker in the window with a level 1. Do you have to I'm on off duty PC. I'm going to Walmart. Do you have to? Oh, you're getting inspected. So now I just reset in Creel, or up there in Theodore. Up there by the plant, there's a little freaking mom and pop gas station truck stop that's owned by the Indians, the dot, not the ooh, not those Indians. And there is a comedy skit about that where a guy said that some Indians approached him after the show and said they didn't understand a lot of his jokes. And then he was like, then I looked at him and they looked at me, and then we both knew we understood why, but I wanted him to say it. Oh, I'm a feather, you're a dot. Yeah, he's a feather, you're the dot, different Indians. So yeah, it's owned by, I guess, the dot Indians, where they charge like $10 a night, but I haven't paid yet. So I reset there. So I try to take my shower on my way down to go reset there at the Petro in Shorter, Alabama. Then I'll reset because I'm just sitting in the truck, I ain't doing nothing. And then I get a shower on my way back out. So yeah, I usually reset down there, Trey. So if you're there in the area, you want to meet or something, hey, I'm down for some Whataburger or something. I need me a good Whataburger. I was actually thinking about going to this last town, but I didn't. Let's see. T-Bone. That's right. T-Bone and Shannon's, they're the legends. Finally catching alive, Toga. Yes, Jamie's actually feeling better. I noticed when he's on the Xbox, because he doesn't know it, but I have his, because when he got the new Xbox, whatever, it's a white one that stands up or whatever, he had me set it up. Well, I had to download the Xbox app on my phone to set it up. So now I get all of his notifications with his chats and everything else. I'm a bad parent. What can I say? So I get to spy, and I know when he's online, I know when he's freaking chatting. Plus the Wi-Fi extenders that I have at the house, I actually have the app for that, and I can see when someone's logged on. And I was also mean at one point. I had parental controls shutting the internet to the Xbox off at 2 a.m. So he started going to bed, because he would be up until 5, 6 in the morning, sometimes 7 in the morning playing Xbox. So I'm one of them bad guys. I started looking at his stuff. This is not Gatorade. This is actually Barks root beer. Last time I used a TA credit, got me something to eat. I always fill my mug up with drink. That's usually the only time I actually get soft drink. Normally I fill up with water. So I fill up with A&W root beer, and then my water bottles that I normally fill up with water, I fill up with this as soon as I get it, and then I put it in the fridge. Then I drink on that while I'm going to bed, and then after I'm running, since I don't stop at the store until I go get fuel to refill my water bottles, I've got some drink left over. But that's right. See, even T-Bone, even Shannon, so I'm not the bad parent as I do. Yeah, we're parent stalkers. But nowadays we have to stalk our kids because they do some crazy stuff. I know I did crazy stuff as a kid, so. But we didn't have video games. Well, we did, but I had like the Commodore VIC-20, the Atari 64. We had things where you had Space Invaders or Pong. You know, oh, you got the 2 little round knob joysticks, or you got the pogo stick that goes up that hits the ball back and forth. Those were our video games, and kids talk about, well, this video game sucks. Y'all should have seen what we had to growing up. I mean, these kids today, they get cell phones when they're kids. I didn't even get internet until, shoot, my first computer and internet was in 95. And we all had my hard drive. The hard drive in the computer was only a 540 meg. This little thumb drive right here that I keep in my stereo, because I got Android Auto. I keep a flash drive with music and videos and things like that in here. On that fight, that's freaking what is it? 512 gigs. So that's like 1,000 times the memory just in this little thing is what my whole original computer drive had. We had the big fat floppy disk drives that were like this big. They had the big circle you push in and slide, almost like a CD. Kids today have no clue. We had 8-track. I had an 8-track player. I still have a bunch of my 45s. I can't find my LPs, but I do have a bunch of 45s with like Journey, Air Supply, Chicago, freaking Survivor, you know, Eye of the Tiger, and all this other Gap Band, all these old groups from the early 80s. Back when they actually made records, and vinyl does sound better, in my opinion. So that's why I actually have a record player at the house, just for all my records. But these kids today, they've got it made. And in trucking, a lot of these kids, they never make it in an owner-operator position like this right here. Like I say, I know with everything that's going on, like I said earlier, I've already spent over 12 grand just in the last week and a half, and now this is probably going to be a couple thousand here for a road call for a freaking turbo change out here on the side of the road, if they can get me one today. So, you know, if it's not one thing, it's another. But kids today, a lot of them don't have that will and commitment to stay in it. They have a sense of entitlement, a sense of luxury. Everything's got to be right there at their fingertips. They don't like to stress about nothing. They feel, you know, well, this ain't going my way. I'm going to go. Life is hard. Put on a freaking helmet and suck it up. Because I'll admit, I was ticked. As soon as I heard that blow, and then I hurried up, pulled over, popped the hood, heard that little bit of rattle, and all of a sudden, I saw that white smoke go poof all up in the sky, the exhaust stacks. Like I said, I hurried up and shut this freaking truck off, keep it from sucking all my oil out the oil pan, and I'm like, well, this just screwed up my day. Had it all set. I was going to get up to the truck stop in Florence, South Carolina. I was going to shut down at the Petro there. I'd have been there by 3 o'clock in the morning. I would have been up. I would have been rolling. I would have been at the customer by 7:15. I would have got delivered by 7:15 in the morning. Would have been able to make it back. I would have stopped in between freaking Florence and Columbia. Turn around, would have parked. I would have got back up probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, between 12 and 1. Which last time when I did that, I was actually up at 12 and rolled out like 12:15, 12:30 when my break was up. So I would have done something like that, just kept on moving, but now this screws up my deal. I'm actually on my 10-hour break right now, because I figure by the time they get here, I'll have a 10-hour break in. Then I'll get them to the customer. So it'll still kind of be the same time frame if I do the 10-hour break right here in the emergency lane. But I'm already 3 hours into a 10-hour break. Actually have me a 2016 Coronado glider, Shannon. It's actually got a 1996 Detroit D60 motor in it. Let's see here. I love my 8-track. That's right, sir. The 8-tracks. Kids today, you're used to pushing next song, next song, next song. 8-track player. Oh no. You got 4 tracks with a whole bunch of songs on each track. And you gotta let them go through. Or the cassette tapes. and you push fast forward, and yeah, kids today would have been able to handle all that stuff. But you know, it screwed up my day. But what can you do in trucking? I'm already planning, working the problem. Like, okay, if I do a split sleeper berth here, we'll look at there. Because see, here's another thing that screwed me up on. On these runs here, it's basically 3 days. It's a day and a half up, a day and a half back. I'm looking, all of a sudden the traffic's backing up and stopping. I didn't cause a wreck. They're way up there. But, so, I get fuel, and since I'm always so heavy, because it's Coronado and this trailer, let's see. When I loaded this morning, my tare weight was 35,500 pounds with less than half a tank of fuel. Less than half a tank of fuel. So, yeah. Yes, I prefer pre-emission trucks, Trey. Because the DEF does a lot of damage to the motors. DEF is always, sensors are always going bad, the DEF and all that messages. It kills a motor. But my other two trucks are TMC trucks. They do have DEF. I'm going to say it like that. They do have DEF. There we go. We'll leave it at that. Y'all can read between the lines. But, you know, so it screwed up my plans because it's day and a half there. So because I'm so heavy, I have to kind of piece my fuel until I'm empty. So I always get my fuel to where I guesstimate on the way down. Like, I try to load no more than half a tank of fuel because I am so heavy. And then I usually make it up here to, sometimes I can make it to Florence, South Carolina before I have to get fuel. Sometimes I have to get it in Columbia. I can't make it. It's only like 70 more miles, but I don't want to chance it at an eighth of a tank of fuel between Columbia and Florence. So I'll go ahead and get it in Columbia like I plan on getting it now. Then I'll get enough fuel to get me up there and then back, because I can't get too much because the Virginia scale. I don't want to be over at the Virginia scale. So I'll usually get like 100 gallons in South Carolina, and then that gets me up to Virginia, unload, and then gets me back, okay? So I get it on the way up the first day in South Carolina. I get enough there to go up, and then I come back, and then I get fuel again that day before I shut down. Then I get it on that last leg. Then I'll go ahead and get some more on that third day, because then that's one credit the first day, credit the second day, credit the third day. Because you only need 60 gallons to get a credit. So then I can get 3 credits. So now, if y'all, this is a trucking channel, let's get real. And y'all know I like to keep things real. I like my wife's channel, Keeping It Real with Kat. I like to keep it real. Truckers, we don't bathe every day. On these loads right here, we don't physically load. The only time we actually get out the truck is to go inside the scale house. To get our bills, we go in there, we give them our last contained, we give them the load sheet. They scale us in, we go back there, we load, we never get out the truck, we go back there, we pull in the rack, the guy drops it, he loads us. We come back, we run, we get up here. The only time we actually get out the truck is to go check in the guard shack. And that's actually it, because then when we go back to the back, they unload us. Then we come out, they actually come out to your truck to get the paperwork and your badge and badge you out. So we don't do anything at either end on these loads. So it's not like we're getting nasty and dirty, and the worst dirty you get is if you're, you know, while you're pre-tripping or post-tripping. So a good baby wipe here each night can get you by, you know, 2 days, 3 days. So realistically, you know, I try to get mine. I do get it on every load, sometimes, you know, twice a load, but not every day. So you've got credits that you can use for food. So I try to use credits for food. That's what truck drivers do. So you try to get those maximize your credit. So you try to maximize your fuels and space them out. That way, you know, because you can only earn 1 credit a day at the TAs and Petros unless you're platinum. Now, I lost my platinum status for this year. I've been platinum since, 2017 with TA. No, actually like 2016, I think. I've been platinum with TA. 2016 or 17, I've been platinum. But now but you have to get a certain amount of gallons per year to maintain that platinum level. Now, when you're platinum with the TAs and Petros, Febreze goes a long way. Yes, it does. But now when you're platinum with the TAs and Petros, you can earn 2 credits a day. You can earn 2, spend 2, plus you get a free refill. Every time you get 75 gallons, you get a free refill credit. Whereas your truck stops now aren't giving you the free drink credits anymore. TA will still do it if you're platinum. But you have to get 15,000, it's either 15 or 20,000. I think it's 20,000 gallons. Yeah, it's 20,000 gallons in a year. And then from January to December 31st, then you'll be platinum the whole next year. But now once you get it, I think you only have to maintain, it's either 10 or 15 once you actually make platinum. But being in Miami, there was no TA down there in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, so I lost platinum status. Every time we would go up to Tampa, which was wasn't that often, but we would go to Tampa to load some here and there. We were in Miami doing the cruise ships. I would get it every single time I'd go to the TA because I was trying to build it and trying to get it to keep, but I lost it. So that's the advantage to being platinum. You can't earn 2 a day, but when you're just a regular TA reward card holder, you can only earn 1 a day. So that's why it's important to be able to do 2 a day. If I was still platinum, which is circle back to the whole round trip of all this, because now I'm not going to be able to leave until after midnight if they can get me today. I can't get my fuel credit today, so I lose a freaking credit for today. Because I figured if he can get here, if he can get me changed out, I could leave at basically 11 o'clock, but it's an hour and 15 minutes to Columbia. So that puts me at 12:15. So that puts me getting there after midnight. So even if I got fuel, the credit would be no good to go on tomorrow's credit, not for today. So it'd do me no good to try to fuel twice tomorrow because I'd only earn 1 credit. So that sucks. So I mean, I'm still gonna really need to get fuel twice. So since I can only get it once, I'll just get enough to do the same thing, get me up, get me back. I'll just only be able to earn 2. So now I'm gonna lose a meal credit. Still have my showers, but I'll lose a meal. So that's how you maximize. So being a truck driver, don't know, twin. Roy said that he would call me and let me know. I haven't heard back from him to find out. He said, you know, the guy that he'll send them on. I haven't heard that he's not, so maybe they've got it. I hope so. Because I really need that turbo. I need the turbo. Let's see, y'all. We'll show y'all all the cars. Here we go. Ooh. Stereo, we don't got to take close view. Let's move it around, y'all. Come on. Switch. There we go. See, there's the next exit right there. And right back there where the traffic in the mirror is starting to back up, that's where the daggone rest area is that I had just come out of whenever it started to go. And of course I got my laptop here so I can see comments because I can't see comments on this phone. Yeah, y'all had my ugly mug up close. Ooh, you don't need that. Let's see, if a person is not sweating or physically working hard, a daily shower is not necessary. Everyone feels better with that. That's right, I do feel better with a good daily shower. But by gosh, Miss Cat buys baby wipes by the case. She'll buy the big case that's got like, what is it? Has like 12 of these members marked baby wipes in them. 96 baby wipes. So she always keeps me stocked up. So whenever I go home, she always stocks me up. Or as she says about me when I'm there, she'll see me in the cabinets and things. She's like, what are you grocery shopping for now? Because when I'm home, I go grocery shopping through the cabinets and all the pantries and everything, because I know she always keeps things stocked up. I'm bad like that. So yeah, you know, trucking is all about patience. It's all about perseverance. It's all about frustration, because you're going to go through a lot of frustration, especially as an owner operator. So like I was saying earlier, you know, I got my other driver. He sent me pictures. He's up there at the hotel room now up in New Jersey. So he starts orientation tomorrow with C3 here where I'm at now. It was just up there on the sign. So I'm glad he's getting going. But since I've got to float, you know, basically 3 weeks worth of fuel before I see a first paycheck, and I'm running like $2,300 a week in fuel, I'm trying to hold out. Plus there was someone who wanted to drive for me that I told her I would hold out for a little bit, but I may have to go ahead once Robert gets going, because my other Black Pete, I bought mine. My brother bought his yellow Peterbilt back in March of last year, because we were supposed to have all this guaranteed work where we were at before, and we did not get it. Even though it was supposed to be set in stone, it didn't happen. So I've been paying basically $3,100 a month for a truck and insurance and everything for a truck that's never had a driver in it. So for a year now, because he put us on a hiring freeze, so I couldn't put anybody in it. So I've got to get that truck rolling, because I'm just steadily hemorrhaging money, you know, forking out money for a vehicle that's never had a driver in it. I mean, I took it down to Miami with me for a little while to run for a couple months, make sure got all the kinks out. Since I couldn't put a driver in, I figured, well, I might as well drive it now. Plus I had to get insurance on it when I came back from my first time, so I could go get the APU installed, because 30-day tag was expired. I had to freaking, you know, get a tag and get it contracted on, just so I can move it now to go get all that done. So yes, I'm forking out a boatload of money for a vehicle that never officially had a driver in it. So I will probably be looking for a driver here real soon. I'm going to give it a couple weeks to get Robert's truck going, get some money, revenue off his truck, and then I'm going to have to put a driver in this other truck, y'all. Luckily, that one is a 13-speed. My first TMC that Robert's in is the 10-speed automatic. This one here is the 13-speed manual transmission. Yes! Because stick shifts are much better than the freaking automatics. You can do micro movements. Now, I will have to say, it was darn nice having that automatic, because, you know, you can always just, you drive one hand, man, you pull up a drink and drink. You ain't got to constantly worry about shifting gears, or put the drink down, got to shift gears. I mean, you're thirsty, man, you just grab it and just take a sip. You get to go traffic, especially Miami traffic with stop and go. It was nice to be able to have the automatic. But to me, the automatics in tanking, they don't really go. I've heard a lot of bad comments about automatics and tanking. They're just not, they don't mesh well, because they're not really made to sync too well. See, even trucking with T-Bone goes grocery shopping from the house. That's what our wives are for, right? Our wives do the grocery shopping, and then we shop from them. We get that secondhand grocery shopping. So yeah, like I say, y'all, now I'm just so freaking tired and delirious, I'm rambling. It's one of them things. What's up, Chris? That's right. Get some Mando and get some Brondo, man. We need some Brondo. Because Brondo's got what plants crave. If plants crave it, why not us humans, right? If any of y'all ever seen the movie Idiocracy, they talk about Brondo. Because, you know, Brondo's got what plants crave. Well, it's got Luke Wilson in it. Because he talks about, you know, putting some water on the plants. And, you know, they'll grow. So just beeping. I don't know who's over there just a beeping and going away, but hey. But whoever it is, they backing up to me. Whoever rode past me in the pickup's backing up, y'all. So I guess we're gonna have to see what's up. Well, y'all, I guess we're gonna call it in on this live. I don't know who's in the pickup, but he's backing up. Horn going by and he's backing up to me, y'all. Anyway, y'all, we'll call it in on this live. Strange things happen, you never know. Anyway, y'all, we'll call it on this video, y'all. Peace out. If I can figure out how to cancel this thing. Let's see, how do we get out of this? Doo-dah, doo-dah.